Hello, everyone. It's me, LBT, once again, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing good. And this is another LBT podcast, not just on Power Rangers or the Jurassic franchise, but a dino documentary that I've never even done in my channel before, for the first time. And yes, if you want to check out that LBT podcast with Power Rangers Wall Force, especially Forever Red, check that out on my channel and you'll find it for yourself. And this podcast will be as much different as it can be. This is a documentary where we travel back in time to the time long before the dinosaurs. Walking with Monsters. And yes, it is part of a Walking With series, which I grew up with the Walking With series. But keep in mind that this is going to be a third episode of Walking with Monsters, Clash of Titans, which is hands down one of my favorite episodes of Walking with Monsters, literally. And I gotta be real here that I watched it along with When Dinosaurs Roamed America, so that'll be another time. And it's not just me. My characters are right over there, and they want to say hi in their faces, and this is not going to be a regular live stream. This is going to be a podcast. Something much more interesting. So, yeah, got to deal with this before I invite any of you guys in. And as I digress, for those who want to be part of my live stream of Walking with Monsters, links here so that way we can have a chat with each other. And I know my friend Tyrannotherium is a fan of the Walking With franchise, so let that sink in for a minute. And if you want to be part here, click the link here so that way you and I can have a chat with each other. And let's continue this, shall we? Not to mention, I'll be pausing a few parts of what happened, and I'll be able to analyze the parts in our favorite moments of Walking with Monsters, and going to each characters one by one, and that'll be, yeah. One of my favorite scenes would be the Gorgonopsid. Yep, we're here, and I like the theme song in Walking with Monsters. It kind of gives me that vibes of Dinosaur Revolution and Walking with Dinosaurs all together. I mean, such a cool theme into it. Not to mention, there's also theme songs that I liked. Shows like Chaotic, Primeval, and not the Siberia. 60% hotter than today. Extreme heat. Volcanic activities. Are you sure about this? Because I'm not the biggest fan, but I can get to it. Finally, Tyrannotherium.
Hello.
Hey, Tyrannotherium.
Hello there.
I finally get to do this podcast between you and I for the second time. the same way that we did for Prehistoric Planet Season 2.
Yeah. I don't know too much about the Permian accuracy stuff, but I can do the best as I can.
And I'll be explaining of what happened in the moment in Walking with Monsters, especially with these characters. And
Yeah.
yeah, decided to do this podcast for Walking with Monsters, especially with Clash of Titans. And I think it's probably the best episodes in Walking with Monsters so far. Second is Reptiles Beginning, and I don't have a third, so I just picked two
Well,
episodes
well,
at a time.
there's only 3 episodes. New Beginning, I think that's what it's called, and then beginning of Reptiles Beginning.
Reptiles Beginning,
Yeah, and then the final episode is Clash of Titans.
Clash of Titans. Yeah,
Yeah. In the there's actually 3 versions of Walking with Monsters. You got the Discovery Channel version, which is the entire whole thing of the
yeah,
documentary.
like a movie.
Yeah, and then you got original BBC one, which is like the Discovery Channel version, and then you have the one that we all know, which is the 3 episodes.
Yeah, and
Um, yeah. So the Gorgon Opsid, well, in this case called the Late Permian Triassic, is probably the best scene of the documentary, because I do like the Gorgonopsid, or AKA Instracevia.
Instruments of Stevia. Yeah,
That's that's what it's called.
or
It's a really
Gorgonops.
Yeah, it's a really cool design. And a little fun fact too is that it's actually the first saber tooth like animal that has, of course, saber teeth. Before even the true saber tooths of came to the Cenozoic era.
No problem. And
Yeah.
I'll probably show you some of the Gorgonopsids, which those are my favorite designs, character designs, and yeah,
The only thing I actually have a problem with is that accuracy wise, it should have hair, because that it's a mammal, but it's not a true mammal as people think. It's a
more like
mammal, it's
a
just not a
mammal
true
like
mammal.
reptile,
Yeah,
mammal
it's
like reptiles.
called the synapsids.
Yeah, and
And then yeah, yeah, it's just that cool design just needs hair.
exactly. Eh,
Um and also the animals that it was with, like the Scutosaurus, um oh god, I can't remember the other's name. It's been a while.
is
Didelphodon.
is it like Diectodon?
Diectodon. Yeah. Diectodon, not Didelphodon. Diectodon is a pretty. It's a pretty cool design too. It's actually closely related to Scutosaurus. I mean not Scutosaurus.
Lystrosaurus.
Yes, Lystrosaurus. I'm sorry. And
And do you know the Placerians that came right up from Walking with Dinosaurs?
yeah,
Those big elephant tux like creatures or something?
yeah. Those were the last of the synapsids in the Triassic period. Yeah. But in the beginning of the documentary, we see the synapsids, the in that in Walking with Monsters.
Yeah.
And then we got the amphibian Leviathan, which is the last of its species in the documentary. And I did like the scene how it was like following a cocoon inside, trying to like hibernate to wait for the rains to come. But unfortunately, the Incercivia ate the ate the poor amphibian and, well, had lunch.
Yeah,
Had
as a
it,
snack.
and I did like the soundtrack design of that,
So do I.
in that, because it feels like that it's like coming to the end of the gore of the of, of the of the mammal-like reptiles, aka the synapsids.
Yeah. So
Um,
those are the parts where the synapsid-like creatures went extinct, long
yeah,
before the true reptiles showed themselves, which of course dinosaurs. any of the
Yes,
other
and
prehistoric creatures.
yes, and other types of archosaurs.
Yeah.
The only thing, of course, is that they should have used the explosion because it was known as what is known as the Great Dying for a reason, because it wiped out 90% of life on Earth. It destroyed. Back then, the Great Dying was like almost like a volcanic erosion. And then it also had the continents Pangea. This was the beginning of Pangea was around, so it was very interesting.
Oh
But
yeah.
unfortunately, they didn't show it. They just showed like
The
a
dust clouds being like, which kind of reminds me of the Rite of Spring from Fantasia. Hell,
yeah,
even
it was
Dinosaur Revolution did a lot better with the explosion of like meteor or something.
yeah,
That's
like
what you're saying?
accuracy wise, you know, like it could have happened, we but it showed that it was more of a volcanic erosion that destroyed 90% of all life on Earth. That's why it was called the Great Dying for a reason. It was worse than the KGP, the the 66 million year extinction event.
Yeah, like a giant meteor crashing into Earth and wiping everything in its path and all that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then when we move on to the final version of the final of the story, we got Lystrosaurus, Euparkeria.
And
Um,
those prehistoric. Oh, Phalaenopithecus, the
yeah,
prehistoric.
aka Thernoxodon,
Oh
and
yeah,
then we have and then we have Proterosuchus.
yeah. Which don't they have really cool designs, especially with these um, Lystrosaurs and Upark area, which those are
Yeah,
my favorite ones.
yeah, Euparkeria was a cool animal because it was the first animal that was that's the ancestor of dinosaurs, which is pretty cool.
Not to mention, I actually like in the beginning scene of uh the beginning scene of Clash of Titans. I actually like the Scutosaurus design, which they're these big giant turtle like lizard like creatures.
Yeah, it's speculated to be that it's a distant relative of turtles, despite that it is a synapsid, which is kind of weird because synapsids are not synapsids are mammals and turtles are not in that group category.
Not really.
Yeah, but who knows really? I don't know much about Scutosaurus, but yeah,
Yeah.
like let us
I
know in
mean,
the comments.
right. But both the Scutosaurs and Gorgonopsids are actually kind of cool, especially
They are.
when the Scutosaurus was attacked by the Gorgonopsid.
Yeah, it was attacked by the Gorgonopsid.
Yeah,
And
and then and and then the soundtrack looks catchy,
yeah,
especially with the
because I like they use that soundtrack in the hunt scene of the Dimetrodon um and in the
Dimetrodon and
Gorgonops.
Dilophosaurus.
Yeah. And then back to what we were talking about the final part
Oh
of
yeah,
the episode called
where
the Permian, well not the Permian, but
Triassic,
the early Triassic. Um it was pretty cool to see Euparkeria and
and then it morphed into an Allosaurus in the end,
yeah,
which is
but
kind
yeah,
of interesting.
let's talk about it at the very end of the part. Um, you know, Scutosaurus was pretty cool. The only issue I have with that scene is Thernaxodon. Why does Thernaxodon have a poisonous bite? There is no actual evidence of Thernaxodon having a poisonous bite.
Yeah,
Why did they use it? I have no idea.
it's kind of weird when they hell even Jurassic Fight Club had the same thing with the Tyrannosaurus, especially
Yeah,
when it's biting on something.
yeah, and even the documentary, dinosaur, not dinosaur,
Planet Dinosaur with the
with science,
Sarnathosaurus.
yeah, Cyanothsaurus with the venomous bite. Um, I didn't really like that. I didn't really like that, but
It would be cool for a TV or a movie But for
I wouldn't
documentaries, just
I wouldn't go
take.
that far, but they could have just. But yeah, I do agree. Like with the documentary, no, but yeah, but and the Proterosuchus, aka the Chasmanosaurs, they're pretty cool. But I don't know too much about them. But I know that they would have acted like crocs because they are part of the Archosaur group, and they are probably the early relatives of crocodiles. But yeah, and I did like the hunt scene because it kind of reminds me of a wildebeest migration with a Lystrosaurus getting attacked the by the by the Proterosuchus.
Yeah,
It was pretty cool. And then at the very end of the scene, I did like how the Euparkeria evolved into an Allosaurus, which was very unexpected.
and not yeah, and when I watched that scene, I was like, I did not see this coming at all. And
Me
I gotta
too.
yeah, I gotta be real here that Walking with Monsters is the very first dino documentary that I ever watched. Because my very first dinosaur movie that I watch is Dinosaur, and the very first dino documentary I watch is Walking with Monsters, and second is When Dinosaurs Roamed America. Third,
Really,
Walking with Dinosaurs.
I didn't know that. For me, Walking with Monsters was one of the first Paleozoic documentaries I really watched as a kid, and I didn't know at the time that this was part of the Walking with series. But then, obviously, when I did my research, I'm like, "Holy crap! This is the last and the final of the Walking with series," and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As a whole. Even though I used to have the Discovery Channel version at the time, but then I watched it later on with the BBC version and it felt much better. It
Mm-hmm.
it has, of course, not all, like, it may be, I don't know too much about the accuraciness of the documentary, but I
Don't
know
worry.
that for some paleo zoic fans out there, it probably is inaccurate, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy the documentary. It is one of the best,
Same
and it's a
here.
very underrated documentary series.
Exactly. Probably one of the most underrated pieces of paleo medias, and possibly the uh, underrated ones.
Yeah,
Just as underrated as Chased by Dinosaurs and something like what? Oh, Planet Dinosaur.
and a lot of people don't really talk about Paleozoic stuff that much because when people talk about it, they just think that usually it's Dimetrodon, but no, there's more animals out there um, like Dimetrodon. Like you got Dunkleosteus, which I know it's not in the documentary, but it's in the Walk with Chased by Sea Monsters.
Yeah.
You got the Ecercevia, aka the Gorgonops. You got so many animals
There's
from that
Scutosaurs,
timeline. From
there's
that,
Edaphosaurs, and there's these lizard-like creatures from Walking with Monsters. Can't remember their names that much.
what are you talking about?
Oh, in the second episode, Reptiles Beginning.
In the second episode, Scutosaurus, right?
Mm, I think it was Halacosaurus.
Parallachosaurus.
Yeah, if I don't know the name, try to correct me and all that because
Wait. You said that it was the what episode it
the
was?
one Reptiles Beginning,
No, I mean,
where
oh, Edaptosaurus.
yeah, before it evolved into a Dilophosaurus.
Oh, Petrolachosaurus.
Yeah, Patrolachosaurus. Man, I almost got the name right, but good job, Tyrannotherium, for
Yeah,
correcting me on that name. I need to say that name like a couple times before. But
yeah.
speaking of which, I I oh, there's a scene where this amphibian was snapping on the Gorgonops's jaw like
Yeah, that's
rivalry.
Lepharithodon I was just mentioning. It was trying
Oh,
to attack it, trying to attack the Incercevia, but it was too big for it. So the amphibian Lepharithodon just ran off and fought. Well, just hunt another day. but
Pretty interesting.
unfortunately, it was doomed.
Yeah. I mean, I like how they put the Tom and Jerry reference in there by saying this is a game of cat and mouse.
Yeah, pretty much. Except for that, the Lephorithrodon swam off, and the Gorgon Opposite's like, oh crap, I'm not, I'm not getting food today. And then, like moments later, we finally see the pool getting dried up, and then the Labyrinthidon falls into a cocoon, like I said in the beginning of the review, and the Gorgonopsid just eats and drinks.
And the Gorgon opposite is like, finally, finally a tasty snack for me.
And
Like
then
that.
until moments later, it was doomed from the storm.
Oh yeah. As cool as the Gorgonopsid and Scutosaurus was, they they couldn't survive that much droughtness, especially with all that sandstorm coming
Yeah.
like that. And I really like the locations in the beginning. It gave us that cool desert vibes, especially
Yeah,
with animals and all that.
yeah, because the site that they found, it was more like like Egypt. So Gorgonopsids, well, Intrasevia, if I'm not mistaken, was found in Siberia.
Pretty interesting.
So it
Which
was like a desert back then.
yeah, which kind of reminds me of Dinosaur Planet, where the Velociraptors, Protoceratops, Oviraptors, Prenocephaly, and Struvivia were around in that desert locations.
Yeah, and and Mongolia today is also a desert as well.
Yeah, I like Mongolia. I might as well travel there some days. Or maybe to China or Korea, all those other places.
Yeah. Oh, that's what the episode is called. Water dwellers.
Oh, the first
But
episode of Walking with Monsters?
yeah,
Huh. Pretty interesting.
Intrasevia.
Oh, and when I watched that episode of Dinosaur Planet, I was like, is this like a spin-off to when dinosaurs roamed America, but with different species of dinosaurs like the raptors? And I thought the Prenocephales are regular Pachycephalosaurs entirely,
Yeah,
but
I
turns out that they're Prenocephaly.
yeah. Um, let's let's stick to the topic.
My bad.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I just Googled it, and Intrasevia was found in eastern Russia and South Africa.
Huh.
So
That's
pretty much
interesting.
that. So pretty much that the environment looked very much like a desert in Siberia.
Yeah. And we're in the part where everything starts drying out, where lack of food, lack of water, lack of anything, except for big predators scounging for food and all over the place. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and they also got the yeah. So the environment, they got it right. The Intrasevia size, I believe they got it right. Probably around 800 pounds. Intrasevia was, so that's like the size of a large bear.
yeah, and more or less like a tiger or something.
Well, more like it was like a saber tooth, but before the actual saber tooths came. So this was the first saber tooth like animal in prehistory.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah,
And I and back around in 2011 when I was watching Walk with Monsters, I decided to use tinfoil and sculpt these prehistoric creatures to resemble the ones that we see in the actual show, Walking with Monsters.
interesting.
I even got a library book of it back in my sixth grade elementary school back in
Oh my,
2011.
you probably got the walking with mon. You probably got the prehistoric life book,
Yeah,
which
that one.
shows. Yeah, I used to have that at the library. Um, yeah, in the library that I go to. Unfortunately, I can't find it when I go to the library, but maybe I'll get it on eBay or Amazon some other day. But um, yeah, it's a pretty cool book, and it shows like all the prehistoric creatures from the Walking with franchise.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Um, is there anything thoughts that about the documentary?
Oh, and oh yeah, there's also a thunderstorm coming in the way, and then the only creatures that survive that blast the is of course Diectodon.
Yeah.
Speaking of Diectodon, cool creatures, and I actually like their looks. They're basically like these chickmunk like reptile like creatures, and
Yeah, the I did like that the scene with the Dietodon because it's like when the Gorgonopsid or Intrasidia was trying to hunt try and hunt them. It was like playing a whack a mole.
oh yeah, like uh playing these groundhogs and then use the thing and then bang them and all that.
Yeah,
Huh. Kind of sad seeing both Gorgonopsin and Scutosaurus are dead by this drought.
yeah,
And we're going to jump into the part where Diectodon transmorphs into Lystrosaurus.
yes.
And I'm going to show you you probably knew what the Lystrosaur, and man, the Lystrosaurus looked incredible in this. This biggest hippo like creatures and all that. And I'm not gonna lie that the Lystrosaurs that we see in the size charts looks a lot like small compared to a human foot, which seems weird.
Well, there
That
are a couple of species of Lytrosaurs. There's like one that's like the size of that's really small, and then there's like one that's like the size of a sheep or something,
yeah, like a pig, and
or a pig.
yeah, I absolutely like this Lystrosaurus. Probably one of my favorite ones, and I gotta be real that I like this a lot more than the Placerius from Walking with Dinosaurs. Again,
Yeah,
no offense to the Placerius from Walking with Dinosaurs,
yeah,
and not to mention uh, with that prehistoric croc, Chasmatosaurus. Yeah,
or
that one.
Proterosuchus is the pronounced name to use it.
Okay. Yep. We're in 248 million years ago to the Triassic,
Yeah, the early
known
Triassic.
as Antarctica.
Yep,
40% hotter than today. Ambush predators. Yikes.
yep,
This is a harsh, cruel world, but you'll get used to it because it's just nature.
of course. Except for that, the inaccuracies that they have is the Thernaxodon Theracephallium, quote unquote, um,
Yeah.
that has venom like a king cobra or a black mamba, but there's no evidence of proving that.
Mm, but I think I agree with you, Tyrannotherium, man. The way the way that I watched this, and my father watched it, my mom watched it. When my mom watched Walking with Monsters, and she was like, "Look at all the alidars," and I was like, "Is that a reference from Dinosaur, where all these dinosaurs are moving to this place in this desert place like
Yeah,
that?" I mean,
yeah,
it really gives me that dinosaur vibes.
yeah.
And there's also the scene with U Park area.
Yeah. U Park Carrier was, like I said before, U Park Carrier was a pretty cool design. It it was pretty interesting to see like like the prequel, well, that they showed the begin at the ending of Walking with Dinosaurs, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I like the Allosaur through the ending, and kind of looks like a Dilophosaurus from when dinosaurs roamed America, but in Walking with stuff. It would be really cool if Dilophosaurus appeared in Walking with Dinosaurs, but
Yeah,
that's just me though.
yeah,
But at least we actually get to see it in Prehistoric Kingdom and when dinosaurs roamed America.
yeah. Um, I'm about to leave, so
Yeah, at least we got a good talk with each other. And
you
thanks for
take
the
care.
thanks for the information on prehistory and all that, Tyrannotherium.
Yeah,
At
even
least
though
you're
that I am not the best in the Paleozoic stuff, so yeah, I'm not the
yeah,
expert at it, but I don't know too much about it. So yeah,
no problem. It's nice having you, and
I'll see you later.
no problem. And have a good one. And oh, Lord Lyle Floridan and Brandon. I'm
Oh,
here to watch Walking with Monsters, and
hey there.
Brandon, it's nice having you for the other time. And
I haven't
yeah,
been to a meeting in a long time, to be honest.
yeah, apologize for that because I have been working on all that. I'm just watching the act of Walking with Monsters. And Lord Lyle Floridan, how's it going? And I sort of made a mistake, and as soon as I'm done with podcasts, I'll probably jump into the review of Walking with Monsters, the same way I did for something like Forever Red from Wall Force, Power Rangers Wall Force.
Um, cool.
Yeah, and not to mention, I really hope you enjoyed my two reviews that I did, especially on these bad dino documentaries like Monsters Resurrected and Jurassic Fight Club, which
So, why did I ever want to go to your meetings? Oh, yeah, because there was something I have to tell you or ask you or something.
oh it
Oh, if you're familiar with that Across the Spider-Verse movie, what are your thoughts on it?
uh yeah it's a pretty good movie and all that stuff, but
Well,
this
I
is a
mean,
Walking with Monsters podcast that we're in,
well, believe it or
and
not, I was actually sorry to interrupt you, but I was actually concerned about how Across the Spider-Verse was going to come out. You know why I was concerned? Oh, because of this.
unbelievable. Don't try to do that in the we're getting off topic, and we're in a part where the this Philocephalius, that prehistoric mammal. It's funny how that had a model like Cynodonts from Walking with Dinosaurs, but in this, the Philocephalius just jumped on the Lystrosaurus and then just grabbed on it like that. It's like having wolves taking down sheep. I know it's dark for a series, but it is what it is. Not to mention, there's also those surroundings, and yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
Mr.
sorry for
Daniel,
interrupting you, by the way.
Hi guys.
Sorry if I'm here.
I'm watching Walking with Monsters, the Walking with Monsters, the Clash of Titans, and
Eh,
we're almost done
Oh.
with the documentary stuff. And fun funny thing is that me and Tyrannotherium sort of did this, and we're almost at the end, and we're in the part where Lystrosaurus are swimming in the waters.
Oh yeah, getting attacked by Cosmetosaurus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
prehistoric relatives of crocodiles.
Yeah,
And
I seen it. Oh, really? It was a really good scene and very action packed and well, it's a really good scene.
sorry to interrupt,
man,
but I haven't really seen
cat
that
cat
stuff yet.
Chasmatosaurus. Holy cow! And I like
Oh,
how
sorry, that's
its
my
jaw
grandmother.
is articulating. Kind of looks like a Spinosaur, like before the Spinosaurs appear. But I
Yeah.
mean, imagine if it's something like
Sorry about my grandmother, guys.
here.
That's
See?
oh yeah. The, apparently in that scene they usually reuse shots like a lot.
Oh
The scene
yeah,
was like reused. But that's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
Prehistoric Planet did that too, and so many other
not to
documentaries from the
mention with
BBC.
not to mention with When Dinosaurs Roamed America, Planet
Yeah,
Dinosaur.
reuse animation, it's sort of a thing.
Yeah, but because they even the 2013's Walking with Dinosaurs movie, I have to throw that in too because they
Hmm.
reuse so many shots
True,
from the
true.
Pachyrhinosaurs migrating this and that, and
Yeah, but at
I didn't
least
even know
the
that.
go ahead, Mr. Down Diego.
well, at least the episode, at least the finale was intense and heart racing. I mean, the scene where the Listersaurs try to get to the other side is just really intense, and just
Yeah,
like wow.
and not to mention there's also one of them Listersaurs pecked on the camera, and I was like, wait a minute, are they really interacting with the camera? Like,
Well, yeah, that's the sort of thing the BBC loves to do, breaking the fourth wall jokes on some of their documentaries. They did in the
it,
previous episodes of Walking with Monsters, like with the Dimetrodon spreads meat all over the camera, and the Gorgonopsian taking a little snapshot on the camera. Yeah, that sort of thing.
not to mention, even the Tyrannosaurus from Walking with Dinosaurs just roared in front of a camera, and then
Oh
all that spit
yeah,
just came out.
oh yeah, that's right. The most iconic scene in the show.
Also, another thing I wanted to point out is that I like how Walking with Dinosaurs Prehistoric Planet, where an Ankylosaurus just breaks through the camera and then it roars in front of us at the
Oh,
ending.
oh really?
How badass is that?
Hmm, that does sound pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt, but I haven't don't remember those fourth wall breaks.
I think you're. I think. I think you're some kind of a stowaway, but me and Daniel Diego are talking about our favorite moments of Walking with Monsters, and
I just wanted to know what you were talking about. That's all.
But the
yeah,
one problem I had with the ending of Clash is the ending of the episode. The worst part about it was the consistency with the Allosaurus design. One minute it was the one from the Lost World, and next thing you know, it's the one from Battle of the Big Owl. They're never consistent with that design.
oh yeah. I mean, the U Park area morphed kind of looks like a Dilophosaurus from when dinosaurs roamed America,
Hmm.
but somewhat the
They're
same
never
way.
consistent with the design. I mean, one minute it's Lost World, next thing you know, it's Battle of the Big Owl. It's like, really?
Excuse
Oh
me.
yeah, somewhat confusing and somewhat. I could,
No.
yeah, I could agree with you on that, Mr. Dino Diego. I
It
could
doesn't
100% agree with you.
But I have no complaints on it. Clash
Me
of Titans
neither.
is a really good finale, good end off to the series.
And which
Even
leads
though
us
it's a bit
to
short.
something like Walking with Dinosaurs.
Even though Walking with Monsters is a bit short lived and only had 3 episodes, but I could say it's a good end off to somewhat of a series.
Yeah,
But I think the ending was pretty solid, and you ended off with the classic Walking with Dinosaurs theme song. I mean, that's a solid ending. And having the narration The
yeah.
Age of Dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Classic. Truly classic.
Oh, and not to mention, it's good that they reuse footages from Walking with Dinosaurs for all that, which is kind of interesting. And that is
Yeah.
why Chased by Dinosaurs and Walking with Monsters are one of my favorite in the Walking with series from the BBC, which
It's a
is
shame they
kind
couldn't
of
have more
interesting.
episodes. We're both
Yeah.
documentaries. Especially
Or,
Chased by Dinosaurs.
mm-hmm. It would be really cool if they have a lot of more stuff in Walking with or Chased by Dinosaurs, which, to be honest, Chased by Dinosaurs is one of my favorite in the Walking with series.
Me too.
And even if it's 2 episodes, I still have some nostalgicness in the Chased by Dinosaurs.
Same here. I do like the 2 episodes. They're very memorable with good old Nigel Marvin
Yeah.
doing his thing.
And yep, I'm in the part where the U Park area was being chased by a Tasmanosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
Um,
the Chasmatosauruses look amazing, and they're going on hunts
And the
and
shame
going on
that
a
those
need.
are the only appearances those prehistoric crocodiles appeared in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a shame. They should have appeared more often in media rather than
True.
just being in one documentary.
And that goes for U Park area and the other characters in Walking with Monsters.
Well, except for Lystrosaurus and Dimetrodon, they appeared in Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah. And, mhm.
And yeah, pretty much.
um,
Yep, we're in the part where the Lystrosaurs are just migrating to this lake. And then one of them decides to jump, and then the others decide to take a step and all that.
Which in fact, the river scene is comprised of computer animation and practical effects by waving a large animatronic Lystrosaur.
Yeah.
For close-up shots only. Wide shots
Mm-hmm.
must be CG.
um,
Exactly. It's kind of a shame that they don't show the actual behind the scenes of Walking with Monsters, the same way that both Walking with Dinosaurs and Walking with Beasts did this sort of thing. But here, they don't even. I
Oh
would
yeah, they
really like.
they did do a behind the scenes of Prehistoric Planet. Oh, Prehistoric Park.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
at
did
least
kind of saw that.
that's something. That's something new to the tables.
Hmm.
Because if they're going to do it to Prehistoric Park, why not do the same thing with Walking with Monsters and Chased by
Yeah,
Dinosaurs?
yeah. I mean, I did enjoy seeing the crew members playing around with these large animatronic dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures. It's super
Oh,
funny. Yeah.
yeah. Nigel Marvin just wrangles that plesiosaur.
I
Oh
mean,
boy.
wow. Chased by Sea Monsters is kind of like Chased by Dinosaurs, but with marine reptiles instead.
Yeah.
I have to say that one's much more intense than any other documentary. Just
Pretty
because
interesting.
it's just because he's underwater with these giant sea monsters.
Exactly. Like that's a killer ton. And luckily, the returning characters from Walking with Dinosaurs and Walking with Beast made an appearance, like Lyopleurodon,
Mm-hmm.
Basilosaurus,
Mm-hmm.
some other creatures that from Walking with Beast. Don't know too much about them,
Well,
but
let's see. A giant squid and a giant sea scorpion. What
uh,
else?
Giant Squid. I have nothing to say about that.
Oh wait,
oh, we're in
oh, yeah, that's
we're in
right.
the Walking with series featuring with Walking with Monsters. And oh my lord, we're in the part where the Chasmatosaurus just jumped on the Lystrosaurus and then, oh,
Like basically devour them like a full massacre of Lystrosaurs.
yep,
It's like a wildebeest
prehistoric
herd
bloodbath,
with crocodile.
taking down with crocodiles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Um, wait,
basically like a prehistoric variant of wildebeest crossing river, but instead of crocodiles, we got big ancestors of crocs.
exactly. Taking down things that are like size of hippos or something like, oh, sheep or something. Yeah, like that.
that's a lot
Sorry
of
if I'm
information
mistaken,
for me
and
to handle. Sorry.
Hmm.
take notes, Jurassic Fight Club, and take notes, Monsters Resurrected. That's how
Take
you can
notes
make
to all those bad Awesome Bro documentaries. You may learn something for once.
Oh,
exactly.
now I'm getting a
That's
lot
how
of
I feel.
information now.
And
Sorry.
one of them just, whoopsie, the
Sorry if
Lucifer
I
just licks
interrupted.
on the camera and sniffs on it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, yep, we're in the ending where the EU Park area just comes up and eats up the Listersaur corpse. I actually like those apex animals. And when they turn into an allosaur, the Chasmatosaurus just backs down, like
Indeed.
something.
Seeing
Yep.
the new rulers of this prehistoric world.
Yeah, I just wanted to, and I actually like the coloring and all that.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
cow!
kind of cool.
And Yeah. Yep. This dinosaur.
Looks like an Allosaurus.
Of
Yeah,
course
that's
it
actually the
is.
one from The Lost World by the BBC,
Yeah.
Uh,
A 2001 movie, Lost World movie, which I
which is
actually
actually
like
the
that
best
one.
incarnation out of all the Lost Worlds. It's even
Hey,
better than
Exactly.
no,
the one
guys,
with the Scorposaurus.
I
And
drew this too. Sorry if I'm interrupting.
that's nice.
That's
And
fine.
yeah, I gotta be real that it looked a lot like the Dilophosaurus from when dinosaurs roamed America, especially with the head dreads.
I guess the front side looks like Dilophosaur, but I can tell that's an Allosaurus.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 1 minute we see the one from the Lost World. Next thing you know, it's the one from Battle of the Big Owl. They're never consistent with that. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's one thing I have to point out to the ending part.
Yeah, that's the one little nitpick I had with it. They're never consistent with the design. It's like,
Man, make up your mind.
I know, but that was like one little nitpick. Everything else is perfect as a solid ending to the series.
Yeah, and I pretty much agree with you, Mr. Dino Diego. First, it turns into the Allosaur from the Lost World, and then Ballad of Big Owl.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't mind the design of either Allosauruses. They look perfect.
Yeah, at least it looks like Big Al is resurrecting himself after for all
Well,
this.
kind of. The majority of the Allosaurs in that special they all look the same.
Oh yeah, yep. It seems like the Allosaurus is going near to the Stegosaurus, and
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
did like that shot though. It was a really very iconic shot,
pretty interesting.
indeed.
Yeah, and man, my favorite moment where the Stegosaurus and Allosaurus met with each other.
Cool picture.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's like saying that Stegosaurus was like, "Hey, Allosaurus, what you doing?" I'm doing good. I'm just walking off to meet you. And how's the herd going with you? That's pretty nice.
So that actually would be
Okay.
kind of funny if they spoke.
And we got some reuse shots from Time with the Titans,
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
and the credits roll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With that iconic theme song.
And we're almost there to the ending. And I actually
So
like
nice.
the music. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Time of the
Like to find
Titans
a
theme
way.
song is a 10 out of 10 soundtrack. It's truly worthy.
That
Some
classic
listen.
theme song never gets old. Not even for a minute.
You know, LBT, I agree with you. That it will never get old for like a million years. It'll stay in the hands of time forever as one of the best documentary theme songs of all time.
Exactly. And we finally finished with Walking with Monsters, Clash of Titans, and it was really interesting. And yeah,
Mhm.
I absolutely like it for what it is.
Me too.
Even if some parts do feel out of place, but it's
But
still,
those were just the products of its time. They didn't really know that much about that, anyways.
man, I love it, and so
Same here.
amazing, and possibly the best things to come out of the Walking with series. And yeah, and I think we're going to end off this live stream because we
Already?
enjoyed. Yep,
All right.
it was a podcast between me
So I
and
drew this for
Tyrannotherium.
nothing, huh?
At least
Anyways,
you did your
LBT,
drawing.
it's been great seeing you, and I'll see you guys next time. So,
Yeah.
doodles.
No problem. Not to mention, and
I just like
not to
drawing.
mention,
All right.
I also did a review on Forever Red from Power Rangers Wild Force. Maybe you should
I
check
took
that
a look
out.
at that, and it was pretty good.
Not to mention another LBT podcast with Power Rangers Forever Red with
with
Shamer
you and
I.
Shamer.
And I like how you did my drawing and all that, and as well as the Q&A and all that. And well, let's end this off. And
All right. Well, it's great
Brandon,
seeing you, LBT.
nice drawing.
Bye.
All
Well,
right then.
see ya, Diego.
Yeah. Bye.
Well, this will be the end of the podcast. And all right then. Let's end this off over 66 million years.
Wait.
Oh boy. Oh, and one thing, Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry if I was off topic and stuff like that. I was just letting you know why I was
Alright
so
then.
concerned
have
about
to.
that Spider-Man
Alright then.
movie.
Let's end this off. And
It was just because Alex from Trolls were he was
no,
just
no, no, no,
worried.
no, no, no! Don't.
Why not?
Let's end this off. And
It's too annoying.
LBT later on, and we're about to end this off.